You don't want to end up like the spokesman for Subway, do you?
Did you just use a term that excludes women from an occupation?
Okay, let's back up.
Ah! Did you just say spokesman instead of spokesperson when women are just as capable of selling sandwiches as anyone? Are you purposefully trying to use words that assert your male privilege?
So I guess it's basically all but confirmed that if you're a DC Comics reader and you've enjoyed DC Comics, the comics are no longer being written for you. The DC Comics are no longer going to be written for comic book readers. They're now being written for the big corporate masters. They have agendas that they want to push forward. And now, basically our biggest, well, my biggest fear was confirmed. Mariko Tamaki is replacing Peter J. Tomasi on Detective Comics. Obviously, we saw her name attached to Dark Detective in Future State, and I said, well, damn, that's strange. What the hell is Mariko Tamaki writing a fucking Batman comic? Of course, she already wrote Spider-Man and Venom, so that was strange too. But I don't know, it's like somehow people, the industry is so strange. You just fail your way up to the top, and in some cases, you don't even fail your way. You just get put to the top, and we'll get to kind of some of that here in a minute. But if you're a comic book reader and if you enjoy DC Comics, I'm sorry, you're not important anymore. They're no longer going to be creating stories and products for people that actually read them. These are just they're for the heads at Warner Media and AT&T now. It's what they think's important, rather than actually creating great stories with the greatest characters in the history of the world as far as superheroes go. We do have confirmation on some of the Batman-related titles as far as creative teams launching in March. Obviously, yesterday I covered 6 titles. It was Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing, Green Lantern, all that stuff. But waiting to hear this information, I knew it was coming, but you can't believe anybody would be this stupid until you actually see it. We also have the new creative teams on Batman, Superman, and Harley Quinn. Batman, Superman seems like it should be an important title. Apparently, it's not. Gene Yang is going to be the writer on that. Not that he isn't an okay comic book writer, but he certainly doesn't. He certainly hasn't been able to sell Superman. I'll tell you that. Got no history of that. And then Harley Quinn is being written by a relative newcomer. Now they do all have pretty good artists or well-known artists attached to them. Don't think that most of these will be sticking around, but I don't know. About to get into this shit, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs down if you don't. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on Mariko Tamaki replacing Peter J. Tomasi on Detective Comics. Well, here's the new creative team is Mariko Tamaki, artist Dan Mora, perfectly good artist, probably will fit in with Detective Comics very well. But I don't know, has anyone been screwed over as many times as Peter J. Tomasi has been by fucking DC Comics? First, he essentially revitalizes the Superman brand with DC Rebirth. He and Dan Jurgens and Patrick Gleason revitalize the freaking character, get the sales back up after they absolutely tanked during the New 52. They spin it out with one of the best all-ages comics that DC and Marvel, not one of the best, the very best all-ages comic DC or Marvel were producing. Actually, the very best all-ages comic that was on the market. Super Sons. They take that away from him. We know that Peter J. Tomasi had a couple years of stories left that he had already outlined as far as Superman goes. Take that and send it over to Brian Michael Bendis, the new big hire from Marvel Comics, and put him on Detective Comics as a consolation prize. Sorry, Peter, we know we fucked you over, but here, you can have Detective Comics. At least you can write one of the big characters. Do your own thing. You can see he had a little carte blanche. He did not have to stick along with the bullshit that Tom King was doing in Batman. And you could see the things that he did with Superman as a character, the things that he was doing with Jonathan Kent, Damian Wayne, were all terrific, very well received. And yes, there was a sales bump when they relaunched on Man of Steel and Brian Michael Bendis took over. But if you look, the amount of time that Peter J. Tomasi, he was releasing Superman as a twice monthly book. They were coming out every 2 weeks. By the time he was done with his run, still well over 40,000. I think it was over 45,000. Brian Michael Bendis on Superman, a monthly comic book. In theory, should maintain sales better. Below 35,000. The big writer that took over because apparently Peter J. Tomasi didn't know what he was doing. Now, Detective Comics, I believe it is their second best ongoing title, selling ongoing title after Batman. I believe it is. It's number 2 or 3. I believe it's number 2. Doing a great job. Obviously, he had the Arkham Knight story. He had the wonderful Batman Joker one shot at the fair. He had the Cult of Two-Face. Had a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, it got tied into Joker War and stuff like that. And I think the series got derailed a little bit. But Peter J. Tomasi is doing a great job. You know who else is doing a great job? Brad Walker and fucking Doug Mankey. Obviously, they're off of it. Dan Mora's on. I have no problem with Dan Mora as an artist, but that's Brad Walker's title now. That's Doug Mankey's title. They should be on Detective Comics with Peter J. Tomasi. But no, Mariko Tamaki. How does this lady keep failing away from the top? And I can't imagine a more embarrassing time to announce this. After you've just been mocked ad nauseum for her upcoming YA graphic novel, I Am Not Starfire. Now, is Mariko Tamaki a comic book writer? Absolutely she is. She's been writing comics for a long time. Slice of Life comics. LGBTQ Slice of Life comics. That was her calling card as far as graphic novels with the Skib and all that crap. Somehow she gets a Supergirl comic from DC. They decided to give her a go. Guess what? Canceled almost immediately. Somehow she gets an X-23 Wolverine comic book from Marvel. Didn't even last a year. She got She-Hulk. Ruined one of the characters that one of the cool characters that Marvel had. One of the really cool female characters completely ruined her, turned into a food blogger. So if you want to know what Bruce Wayne likes for brunch, if you were wondering, is Bruce Wayne a bagel and lox guy? You're going to find out now in Detective Comics because they got the Slice of Life comic writer, Mariko Tamaki, on Detective Comics, even though she's never sold a superhero comic on her name alone. In fact, she has tank sales. Yes, supposedly she's done okay on Wonder Woman, but who gives a shit if you never read it? Nobody would touch that comic book specifically because she's on it, because of the stink associated with her X-23, her She-Hulk, her Supergirl stuff. And now you have the stink associated with her I Am Not Starfire self-insert character in the YA graphic novel for DC Comics. But this is who gets the chance. This is the person, this is the writer that replaces Peter J. Tomasi, who revitalized Superman, created a great new character, John Kent, created amazing series, Super Sons. They have to keep coming back and doing new prequel comics because freaking Bendis aged up the character, but everybody still wants Super Son stories. Nobody wants fucking Bendis Superman stories. Nobody wants his Legion of Superheroes stories. They want what Peter J. Tomasi was working on. And he has to keep coming back and doing prequel comics when it should have just been going on this whole entire time. They give him Detective Comics. A relief from Tom King's fucking tripe that he called Batman. The only, you can stop reading Batman, but you can keep reading Detective Comics so you get quality Batman comic book every month. And you didn't have to read Tom King. How does he get rewarded? Get to the fuck out. Get in the back of the line, Peter J. Tomasi. It's Mariko Tamaki's time. She wrote Skim. What the hell have you done with your life? God, DC Comics is such a joke. You see in these creative teams, When the first name started coming, I was like, oh, there's no way. There's nobody in their right mind is stupid enough to put Mariko Tamaki as the writer on Detective Comics. Oh yeah, Jim Lee's stupid enough. Daniel Cherry III stupid enough. The leadership of DC Comics and Warner Media, Pam Lifford, they're stupid enough. But guess what? They don't care because this comic book is not for comic book readers. It's their own fucking vanity projects. And that's what it is. Even if it's well illustrated by Dan Mora. This is going to suck. It's going to be dog shit, slice of life, Bruce Wayne. Comic books guarantee every single issue. You're going to see what he's going to have for lunch or brunch or whatever. And that's what fucking Detective Comics is devolving into. And that's what DC Comics is devolving into. I'm going to bring Eric Breen onto the channel tomorrow. And we're going to talk about, is 2021 the ultimate jumping off point just for DC Comics in general? It's looking like it. Literally, if you're a comic book reader, what does it look like you're going to have written for you that you can go in there and enjoy a solid superhero comic story? James Tynion's Batman, if you enjoy that, I don't. It's not my favorite. I like his There's Something Killed in the Children, but I just don't like the way he writes superheroes. I think they're too boring and way too decompressed. What else you got? Sean Gordon Murphy's White Knight universe. We know he just signed on for 3 more years. Oh, well, at least you got something. I'll keep reading that. Sean Gordon Murphy's a quality writer. Jeff Johns has a sequel to 3 Jokers one-shot coming out. Well, it sounds promising. Have you seen anything else that real comic book fans, hopefully the Deceased universe keeps going on. Maybe. We'll see. The sequel's come up. It's been perfect. It's a good story. That's a quality corner of the DC universe that you can count on. But there ain't going to be much. Looks like the ongoings have all gone to shit. And it's too bad. I just feel terrible for Peter J. Tomasi. How many times can DC Comics fuck this guy over and give somebody else an opportunity that he's already earned? And not only did he earn his opportunity on Superman, not only did he earn his opportunity on Super Son, not only did he earn his opportunity on Detective Comics, he excelled with them. He sold great stories. Did things with the character that people like. Fuck that. Peter J. Tomasi's old news. So you're thinking, well, what are they going to have him do? Maybe they'll give him Batman Superman. They only screwed him out of both fucking characters. Batman and Superman. Maybe they put Peter J. Tomasi on Batman and Superman. No. Gene Yang. Another slice of life kind of a comic book writer. He has done some superhero stuff. Obviously, he's best known for American Born Chinese. I believe he won an Eisner for that one. He also won an Eisner for, what do you think he won it for? I can't remember. I think it might have been Eternal Smile. I don't remember. He did do Avatar: The Last Airbender. Was that a good series? I don't know. It was a good cartoon. I don't remember the comic book. But he took over for Superman before Peter J. Tomasi. Got a little run with JR. Nondescript. Nobody remembers it. Also got the new Superman, the Chinese Superman. Didn't last 20 issues. Shocking. Didn't sell. You mean a Gene Yang slice of life comic book writer can't sell a Superman comic? Shocked. What else did he do? Superman versus the Klan. Anybody read that? I didn't read it. Did you read it? Of course not. It's fucking Gene Yang Superman comic. Sounds boring. Right in the Shang-Chi comic. I read the first issue. Pretty average. Not all that interesting. But Gene Yang is the new Superman, Batman, Superman, however they're naming it right now. Batman, Superman. Ivan Reis is the artist. Obviously, he's been working with Brian Michael Bendis on Superman. Great artist. Fucking killer artist. Give him that. How long do you think Ivan Reis is going to be on Batman and Superman with Gene Yang when the sales tank to I don't know. What's the lowest Batman Superman can sell? 25,000 maybe. It's not Batman. It's not Superman. It's it's a spinoff. I think we've seen that the lowest Superman can sell is probably like 35,000. Ben has showed us that. What's the lowest Batman Superman? I bet it's about 25,000. I bet Gene Yang gets there in about 4 months. I think Ivan Rice lasts about 3 issues, maybe, before they put out some shitty artist on there with the old bait and switch Marvel tactics that it appears that they're going with. Are you excited for Batman Superman by Gene Yang? Did his Superman versus the Klan sell you on him as a superhero comic writer? How about his new Superman? Didn't make it even to 20 issues, even though there's heavy interest in creating superheroes for the Chinese audience. What do you think about his Shang-Chi? There's supposed to be an MCU Shang-Chi movie. Is that a good series? Do you think it's going to last 12 issues? I don't. Do you think if they were going to fuck Peter J. Tomasi over by taking him off Detective Comics after already screwing him over with Superman, that maybe he would have been the guy that should have been writing this? Fuck Peter J. Tomasi. He's old news. It's time to move to the future of comic books. And the future of comic books are comic books written for corporate executives and not comic readers. That's DC Comics now for the most part. If you haven't noticed, I'm pretty annoyed about this. I'm a little bit pissed. All right, let's get to the last one. This is Stephanie Phillips. Harley Quinn with artist Riley Rossmo. Obviously, all these are the same creative teams out of Future State. Stephanie Phillips, relatively nondescript comic book creator. She's relatively newcomer. I think she's done some like mini stories for DC and Crimes and Passions, DC Cybernetic Summer. She was also writing some of the Superman Digital First Man of Tomorrow stories after Venditti left that title. Do I care that she's on Harley Quinn? Not really. I don't care about Harley Quinn. Do I think she deserves a crack at Harley Quinn? Not if they want to fucking sell. Are you buying a comic because Stephanie Phillips is on? Are you buying a comic Riley Rossmo? Some people will. I don't like his art. I think it's too exaggerated. But some people like that style. But at least he's a name, I guess. At least he's a name that comic book readers will recognize. Do you think anybody knows who Stephanie Phillips is? No. But she's the chosen one. She's who DC and Boom and Aftershock and everyone else has decided that the comic book writer that took inspiration from Kristen Stewart is the future of DC Comics in the comic book industry in general. Now it's Harley Quinn, so I don't care. I hate that character. I hope this comic book is as bad as I anticipated it being. It gets canceled in 12 issues. I hope all this shit gets canceled. At this point, I don't care if DC Comics goes out of business. They obviously don't care about any of the readers. They don't care about all the people that have put their time, money, energy in keeping up with DC Comics and their characters and spreading the word about how great they are. DC Comics doesn't give a shit about that. Why should you give a shit about DC Comics? It's a good question. I don't know. Somebody's going to be excited about this Harley Quinn comic. Not me. I give two shits. I don't know. I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a bad mood, people. Mariko Tamaki is replacing Peter fucking Tomasi. That's all you need to know about the state of DC Comics. That's all you need to know, really, about the state of the comic book industry in general. The big two are dead. They're dying a pretty fast death now. I think the pandemic has kind of sped things up. Independent comics are the way of the future. Even them, everyone's writing and like they're wanting to write fucking streaming TV shows out of them, so they're all super decompressed, boring shit. Well, not all of them, but there's enough of them that are. Did you read Scott Snyder's Undiscovered Country with Charles Soule? Is that a comic book, or is that just a proof of concept for a streaming show? That's a proof of concept for a streaming show. Got boring after about 4 issues. Oh, I see we're going nowhere in a hurry. Terrific. And I guarantee you, Detective Comics with Mariko Tamaki will be going nowhere in a hurry, but you will learn what Bruce Wayne likes for brunch. Maybe what he likes for breakfast. Will he be gay? Potential. That's a Mariko Tamaki special. I don't know. Is there anything else left to say? Detective Comics, fucking Mariko Tamaki, Peter Chase Mossy, get the fuck to the back of the line.